Hey guys, good morning. It's Armani from Realtor, and I'd like to welcome you to a new episode of In the Car. Today's topic is actually it's a topic I really wanted to make a video about for quite a long time. It's actually about real estate commission. A lot of people are a little bit confused about how much realtors get paid. What we actually end up keeping, how it really works, what they can charge, what they can't charge. So I'm here making a great video just to kind of touch base and let people know exactly what we should be getting paid and what we shouldn't. So here goes. First of all, you're gonna have to excuse me. It is a beautiful sunny day once again, so I'm gonna put on the glasses. Definitely more comfortable to drive with the glasses on, okay? So here we go. So, real estate commission, how much do realtors get paid? So, roughly when a listing agent, like the industry standard right now is 5%. Out of that 5%, 2.5% goes to the listing salesperson. The other 2.5% goes to the buyer's real estate agent. Now, first of all, before I even get into the breakdowns and everything, before people out there in the public think, oh, well, these realtors, they make 2.5% out of every transaction, unless you're working for a discount brokerage, which doesn't take any money from you. Like, for example, when you see a lot of these realtors who work for Remaxes and Royal LePages and all these other bigger name brokerages, they don't get to keep that 2.5%. They're usually giving some type of a split to their actual brokerage. So right away, as a royalty, they have to pay the company that they're working for a certain percentage of that 2.5%. So moving on to the next question, how much of that money do the realtors do realtors actually get to charge? So if, for example, which is what happens to a lot of the top realtors, they go into a listing presentation and people say to them, well, what do you charge? So the realtor will go ahead and say, well, I charge 2.5%. which is the industry standard. Now, there are a lot of realtors out there charging a lot less than 2.5%. There's a lot of 1% realtors out there. And listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking the 1% guys. I'm not saying that you're doing a bad job or anything along those lines. What I do feel, and which is the point of why I wanted to actually make this video, is when you're only charging 1%, you're actually very limited as a realtor in terms of what you can do. So let's take a look at the 1% realtor versus the realtor that charges the full commission, which is the 2.5%. So right away, a lot of properties, part of what a good realtor does is they go ahead and they make a property show the best it possibly can. What do? So for example, the biggest expense that I feel that a realtor could potentially have when listing a property is staging. Roughly, staging, guys, for everybody who doesn't know, it'll cost you anywhere between roughly $2,500 and it can go all the way up to $10,000 depending on how much staging the home needs. I'll give you a perfect example. 6 Keenan Drive, which I just listed about maybe 3 months ago. It was a 3-car garage home up in Loretto. We spent about close to $8,000 on the staging, and it was mainly because the home was empty. So if you want the house to look the best it possibly can, you need to actually stage the property to give it a certain appeal. Now, you're not going to go ahead and you're going to stage every property, because let's say if you're selling a property that's mainly going to be used as an investment property, you don't really need staging. You might need something else like decluttering, for example, because the owners have, or tenants have, furniture everywhere or things that don't belong in certain spaces, and they don't showcase the area as good as it possibly could. So decluttering might be an option, which sometimes people are not willing to do it. So guess who's got to do it? The realtor. Sometimes the realtor themselves are not willing to do it, so they have to hire people in order to declutter and store that furniture elsewhere or in the garage or whatever the case may be. So right away, a big expense, staging. If you're charging 1%, let's say, and you're selling a $800,000 property, and 1% of 800,000, it's obviously $8,000 plus what you have to pay your brokerage. It doesn't leave you much money to be able to do staging. So right away, the 1% realtor, not that he's a bad realtor, but because he charged him, made you pay him less, he's not able to basically market the property in the proper way. So staging is a big part of it. Also, photography and video. If the guy's making a lot less money, he's going to be trying to count his pennies in terms of how much money he's producing for the videos, and for even if he does video at all, because a lot of realtors for some reason or another are still not even doing video. Let's talk about Six Keenan, for example. Six Keenan, the actual video package I used, it ran me about $1,400, and that came with photography, video, and it also had aerial video and photography as well. So it's I was on camera on that one as well. So definitely a video package like that does cost a lot of money. So 1% realtor versus the 2.5% realtor, you definitely get what you pay for. Sometimes sellers, they're really looking at how much money they're spending, but they're not realizing that all these extra little things that the realtor is doing, they're gonna bring them a lot more money. So sometimes the difference between, you know what I mean, a 1% realtor and a 2.5% realtor, you're probably looking at anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000. But if the realtor is a very good realtor, he can get you a lot more than $10,000 on the sale price. So definitely one of the things that I always recommend to every seller is to interview more than one realtor. Even when, let's say I'll go ahead and I'll get a call from a friend of mine, you know what I mean? I'll actually recommend to my friends as well. Call other realtors and get interviews with them, because at the end of the day, they might be doing a better job than me. Or on top of that, the reason why I even want them to do that is because they can see what the other realtors are offering, and then they can see what I'm offering, and then they can actually have a good gauge to compare. So in regards to everybody out there watching, even though you know friends and family members that are realtors, interview more than one realtor. Don't think of it as how much money am I saving, because at the end of the day, not all realtors do the same job, guys. Okay? Everybody's different. They all have different techniques. They all have different ways to market a property, which I feel is huge. And I'm going to talk about marketing on my next point. But definitely, guys, interview more than one realtor and make sure that the person who's listing your house is the person who's going to sell it, or who you feel is going to sell it for the most amount of money, and not necessarily the person who's charging you the cheapest commission. Because it's like the old saying goes, you get what you pay for. And sometimes, you know what I mean, I've seen it time and time again where people go ahead and they hire the 1% realtor, and that guy, all he literally did was put a sign on the lawn, and he was just sitting there like a duck, you know what I mean, waiting for somebody to give him a call and waiting for somebody to purchase the property. So if you actually pay one of those guys 1%, you're literally giving them 1% for nothing. They're doing nothing. So you get what you pay for, guys. My final topic on this video is going to be the marketing aspect. Once again, if you're actually hiring that 1% realtor, what kind of an advertising budget do you think that realtor is going to go ahead and is going to spend marketing your home? Statistically, it's been proven that the main reason why people hire realtors is to market their property. So if this person is only making a certain amount of money, do you think they're going to go ahead and pay to advertise your property? No, they're going to put a sign on your lawn. They're going to take a few pictures themselves. They're going to put it on Facebook. They're going to put it on Instagram or whatever social media they have for free. They're not going to actually make a sponsored campaign or anything along those lines, and they're going to put it up there. If they do an open house, they're not going to really present the open house in a proper way. There's a way to do things. That's why you see a lot of the successful realtors out there, they have a system, and it's that system that gets them the results. So before, guys, like I said, you choose a realtor, make sure you interview as many of them as possible. I would say 2 to 3 realtors should be more than enough. Hire the one that you feel is going to sell your house for the most amount of money, not because they're charging you less commission, because it might end up costing you more money in the long run. So that's one of those things that you gotta also decide if you work well with that realtor, and hire the guy or the person, I shouldn't say guy, there's a lot of women in the industry. Shout out to the women out there killing it in the real estate industry. But there's a lot of realtors out there that are very, very good, and definitely interviewing them is the best step to making sure that you get the most amount of money for your place. So that kind of wraps up this episode, guys. Like I said, this is a video that I've wanted to shoot for quite a while now, so I'm really excited to put it out there next week, and hopefully you guys like it. Remember, if you have any questions, whatever it is, I'm going to put my contact information below right now. Send me a direct message if you have any questions about this video, or even if you want me to cover any other topics. this video is actually one of the ones that I wanted to make, but I have had a few people reach out to me and let me know that they wanna talk about some other points. So I'm keeping those in mind, you know what I mean, to make some future videos over the next couple of weeks and months. So guys, once again, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said in my last episode, I'm like so stoked that everybody's like actually watching these things. I didn't think anybody was gonna watch them, so I'm super excited, and I'm blessed to have such an awesome audience and such a great following. So once again, guys, have a wonderful day, and appreciate you everybody watching. Have a nice day.